Welcome back. You're watching India Today. Well, in a big decision taken by the Narendra Modi government, the Union Culture Minister Mahesh Sharma has decided to dissolve the board of the Indira Gandhi National Centre for Arts. In fact, what we're getting to hear is that all 21 members have been replaced. Senior journalist R B Rai is now going to be the next chairperson. In fact, what we're getting to hear is that a new board of 21 IGNCA members will now be announced in another couple of hours. Let's get in now. India Today's Brijesh Pandey for more on this. Brijesh, this is a big decision taken by the Culture Minister Mahesh Sharma. Do we know what was the reason behind this rejig?
There has been this ever since the new BJP government has come into power. The underlying feeling within the party and the government is that, most of these cultural institutions, which are in a way shaping the narrative, they are being packed with Congress picked persons. And this is one of the big reasons why, they have been slowly and steadily going around replacing them with their own person, which they feel will be better suited to give the narrative of both sides concerned and not just, align itself with the Congress's political ideology. And this is one of the big reasons which we are being told as of now, which led to reconstitution of IGNCA board, and we have been told that all 21 members have been asked to leave, and the new board will be headed by R B Rai. Avantika, a couple of names which I have just got is which are likely to be the new 21 members are Jagmohan, Sonal Mansingh, Saryu Doshi, Nitin Desai. These are the 4-5 names which have come out so far. But what we have been told by reliable sources within the Culture Ministry is that in the next couple of hours, max 3 hours, we will have a full name of all 21 new members of Indira Gandhi National Cultural Association.
Avantika? Now, do you think that there's an attempt after the Nehru Memorial, an attempt at targeting all institutes specially named after Gandhi or Nehru? What is the official statement that the Culture Ministry has given out behind the decision to dissolve the board?
Well, Avantika, no official reason as of now has been given. We've just been able to talk to our sources, but no official version has been given as of now. But ever since, the Nehru Memorial thing came out when Mahesh Rangarajan was unceremoniously asked to leave, it was very clear that the government will replace all the apex cultural institutions of this country with their own handpicked board. The reason, as I was just telling you, they feel that, that these people were handpicked by the Congress-led UPA government, and they feel that they have a degree of bias against them, and this is the reason why a new board has been constituted. The exact official reason, I guess we will get to know in another 3-4 hours when we'll be able to talk to Culture Minister Mahesh Sharma. But as of now, one of the big reasons why this is because they want to replace the board, the obvious reason, with their own members.
Okay, and Brijesh, the exit of Director Mahesh Rangarajan from the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library, in fact, was, very controversial at that point. Do you think that this move would also have some serious consequences, especially, in the relationship between the Congress and the present government?
Oh, absolutely. I think the opposition will lose no time in attacking the center of making sure that all the apex cultural institution of this country is filled with their own handpicked man, so as to drive the saffron agenda of RSS. I mean, this is what all the opposition parties will say, and they will also say that this is a very clear overt attempt by the government to make sure that the narrative of which was being provided by RSS and other cultural institutions which are affiliated and aligned with the present government, their narration will ascertain, their narration will get supremacy in compared to the to a normal neutral narrative which most of these people is. What will be the criteria? What will be the credibility of the people who would join? Whether they will be as competent as their previous incumbent, or the only reason that they've got this job is because of their political affiliation. I mean, very such questions will definitely be raised. Avantika?
Absolutely. Stay with me, Brijesh. We also have with us Executive Editor Javed Ansari for more on this. Javed, do you think there's an attempt at targeting all institutes because after the Nehru Memorial, this is a big announcement being made by the Culture Ministry to dissolve the board?
Avantika, there is absolutely no doubt that this is a conscious attempt on the part of the government of the day to try and fill all these posts with their ideological fellow travelers. They want people there who are more in tune with the BJP, RSS's line of thinking than with the other side. And this is not to say that it's only this government which is doing it. Earlier, when the Congress and the UPA was in power, they had people who were in tune with their line of thinking. So, this government is merely doing what its predecessors have done in the past.
Absolutely. And you know, Javed, when Mahesh Rangarajan left the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library, at that time they said that there needs to be an eminent historian with a proven track record of research work on Nehru or, you know, Nehruvian themes. And it's so interesting that nobody so far has replaced him. Rajdeep was just talking to me, and he also feared about the credibility of this institution, whether it will be maintained in the long run.
Well, absolutely. Rajdeep has just hit the nail on the head. A lot of questions will be raised. A lot of uncomfortable questions will be asked of this government and those who have taken this decision. Because if you're purely going to appoint people because of their linkages, because of their affiliations, then it will certainly tell on their leadership qualities and the kind of direction that they will provide these institutes. This is
right. True. Please go ahead, Javed.
And therefore, the government needs to apply thought, a lot more thought, needs to choose these people carefully. Ideally, in an ideal world, merit should be the only criteria. But having said that, even if they have to choose people from amongst themselves, they need to choose people of eminence, people who have who worked in these fields, rather than just reward loyalists.
Absolutely. Javed, do you think that there's an attempt to target legacy? Isn't it interesting that this announcement has come on the occasion of B.R. Ambedkar's 125th birth anniversary?
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is an absolute no-brainer. There is a conscious, clear attempt on the part of the present dispensation to try and undo, remove, to try and eliminate all linkages with the past, all linkages with, especially with the Nehruvian line of thought and thinking, and therefore they are consciously going ahead, systematically going ahead, doing it. Whether it is removing Mahesh Rangarajan or now in the case of the Indira Gandhi Institute, there is a conscious attempt to try and erase those linkages and try and introduce an absolutely new narrative.
Absolutely. Brijesh, can you just tell us if you've heard anything about who really or who are the people who will comprise the new board? You were just mentioning about a few names, but any more details so far about the new members who could be announced in a couple of hours now?
Well, I've just given you four names: Sonal Mansingh, Jagmohan, and Malik Desai. But one thing I would like to add here is Avantika is, as you know, the BJP is saying that that the person who has been appointed as the new chairman of IGNCA, he's not he's not somebody who can be easily trifled with. He's a known socialist and a very eminent journalist. And they also say that that appointment of Mahesh Rangarajan, was always shrouded in a degree of controversy, because this is what is being said and told to me by is that this was the last file which was cleared after the Manmohan Singh government lost the election. So they are saying that that the appointment of Mahesh Rangarajan for Nehru Memorial was something which was not above board, and this is one of the reason why he was removed by the new government. They think they feel that that somebody who has an immaculate, somebody who has a proven credentials should take over, and this is the reason why Mahesh Rangarajan was removed. They said the act of the last UPA government to appoint Mahesh Rangarajan was something which they ideally should not have done post losing election. Avantika?
Absolutely. Javed, Ram Bahadur Rai, we believe, will be now the next chairman. Can you throw some light on him? He's a senior journalist, and of course also he has been awarded a Padma Shri, but just tell us a little bit more, because that's what we are getting to hear, that he now would be chairing the IGNCA. Javed, can you hear me? Okay, coming to you, Brijesh, can you throw some light and tell us a little bit more about Ram Bahadur Rai, who is going to be now the next new chairman of the IGNCA?
Well, he's a very old journalist, a very seasoned journalist, and he has been known more for his work on Gandhian philosophy, and he is also a very active journalist for a very long time. He headed the newspaper, a very prominent newspaper, Jan Satta, a sister publication of Indian Express, and he was also awarded Padma Shri. So the government is saying that by appointing him and he's also a known socialist. So they are saying that the government is saying that by appointing him, they would be lending a degree of credibility to the institution of IGNCA, which they feel that is being run by people who were handpicked by the Congress-led UPA government, and they're saying that it will restore balance in the Indira Gandhi National Cultural Association.
Stay with me, Brijesh. We have from the Congress, Mr. Sanjay Jha. Sir, thanks so much for taking the time out and speaking to us. How do you react on the news of the board of 21 IGNCA members now being dissolved? And we are also getting to hear that the new chairman has also been announced. He is Ram Bahadur Rai. Your first reaction?
Well, I'm just hearing it on your channel right now, and all I can say is that over the last 2 years, since Mr. Modi has assumed power in Delhi, there has been a very brazen attempt to gradually reduce every institution in this country into some kind of a form that suits the overall agenda of the current government, mostly in a manner that has raised serious questions. I would like to remind you about the way they have brought about changes in the Nehru library, in the Nehru Museum, and I think all that is a manifestation really of a very insecure government that has got a very defined agenda, which is driven by the RSS, and they will try and stifle constitutional boards, eminent people who hold views that are more liberal, progressive, secular, and consistent with the ideology of this country.
So you're saying that there's a brazen attempt to reduce every institution in the country that suits a certain mindset. Do you think that there's a deliberate attempt at targeting every institution, particularly that goes with the name of Gandhi or Nehru?
Absolutely, and I think there are very, very obvious political tones here. And don't forget that if you look at the Indian Council of Historical Research, the ICCR, the National Book Trust, you look at what's happening in the IITs, etc. And of course, let's not even get into the universities, because we debate it every day how they are targeting educational institutions. You look at the Central Board, you look at FTII. I mean, essentially, institutions of learning, information, education are all being gradually, shall we say, systematically dismantled in pursuit of the larger agenda of this government, which we all know is driven by an extreme fundamentalist religious ideology.
So after the controversial exit of Mahesh Rangarajan, now we are seeing, or getting to hear this big announcement by the Cultural Ministry. It's believed to be one big rejig, a revamp to the institution of the Indira Gandhi National Centre for Arts. So will you be taking up this matter now with the government?
Of course we will. And I think, end of day, I think the people of this country are very, very, aware. They're very conscious of what's going on. I'm glad you mentioned the issue of Mahesh, for example. But, it's not just the people they replace, it's whom they replace them with. And, you always find that there is a very hard line, fundamentalist people with very clear, defined, compatibility with the ideology of the BJP and the RSS which are being put there. And most of them, and I say this regretfully, haven't had either the caliber or the character to assume the positions they have been given. That's unfortunate.
All right. Mr. Sanjay Jha, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your views with us on our channel. We also have with us Executive Editor Javed Ansari. Javed, I was just speaking to Sanjay. I don't know if you got the chance to hear him, but he did categorically mention that he feels that there's an absolute brazen attempt to reduce every institution in the country to suit a particular ideology or a mindset. Now, tell me something. Do you also agree that there could be perhaps a deliberate attempt, to target the legacy?
Look, there are no two ways about it. There's no two question about it. We don't need to go further. Just refer back to what the Culture Minister told Mr. Rahul Kanwal, our managing editor, in one of the interviews. He said, look, we have a mandate. We have a mandate. People have given us a mandate because they believe in our ideology, because they want change. We have a mandate to change, and we will go about doing it. He was very clear. I can't go any further. When you have the Culture Minister himself, and this was in reference to one of the first changes that he made, perhaps he was referring to Mahesh Rangarajan. So this present government believes they've won a mandate and hence earned the right to go about doing things the way they deem fit, and they're doing it. Mr. Mahesh Sharma is on record having said that.
Absolutely. And change is in most ways, Javed, a good thing to happen. But one should also ensure that the credibility, the respectability of a particular institution is also maintained. We haven't seen anyone, taking the position of Mahesh Rangarajan after he was very controversially asked to leave.
Yes, absolutely. Change just for the sake of change, I don't think so. Change always needs to be for the better. And what is the reason that Mr. Mahesh Rangarajan was removed for? We have nothing. They haven't been able to replace him. So obviously you're just removing people because they have linkages to the previous regime, or because they have linkages to the Nehruvian thought. So therefore, if you're uncomfortable with somebody because of his ideology or just because what he believes in, and you are the government of the day, you have the mandate. Bring about change, but bring somebody bring him on merit. Bring somebody who carries credibility. Bring somebody of eminence. Bring somebody who'll be more than adequate replacement for the past, rather than just leaving that post vacant. Whether it is the case of Mr. Mahesh Rangarajan and now Mr. Ram Bahadur Rai has been a senior journalist. I know him personally, but whether Mr. Ram Bahadur Rai's appointment and that of others is purely based on merit, there's more than one opinion on that, Avantika.
And why do you say that? Can you just elaborate a little further on that? Yes.
Because Avantika, the reason I say that, all these people are known. They have a particular, they have linkages. They have linkages to the BJP. They have linkages to the Sangh Parivar. Like I said earlier, this is not the first time that something like this is happening. There were others who were appointed because they believed who believed in a certain ideology, who shared linkages with the Congress party or to the left. So this has happened in the past. The BJP was very critical of it when that was happening. Now that the BJP is in power, they're doing the same thing.
Okay, Javed, stay with me. We'll have to head into a short break, but we will continue with the story about the Culture Minister deciding to dissolve the board of the Indira Gandhi National Centre for Arts. Big breaking news, and it is indeed one of the biggest steps forward for India's nuclear weapons program. India today can now confirm that the country has successfully tested its most ambitious weapon system.
The show is perfectly fine, it's healthy, it's normal, and it's cool, like always. Little baby called the iPhone SE has arrived in India, and we got our hands on it. We have told you a lot about the phone, reasons to buy it, and